Good day everyone, and welcome to another tutorial. So today we'll be dealing with functions. So basically, when trying to work functions on caml, we use the syntax. We say let, then the name of that function that you're calling, followed by the variable that you want to use. It could be one variable or more variables, then equal to the expression that you want to give, then followed by the double point virgule. So it's going to be let, then the name, the name of the function, followed by the variable or the variables, then equal to the expression, then finally with the point virgule. So this is how we declare basically for functions. And just like how functions work, you can also call a former function and apply it to the current function that you're working with. We'll do examples on that. So with what we have now, let's try an example of trying to calculate the sum of two variables. Let's say we're trying to calculate the sum of two variables. So like we said, we'll start with let, then let's call the function sum. So we're using function sum, and we said followed by the variable or variables. In this case, we're trying to find the sum of two numbers, two variables. So we go x and y, then equal to, we define the function, we write what we want our function to do. Okay, so we have x plus y, because we find the sum of x plus y, then followed by the point virgule. So you see right here the name of the function. We're working with two integers. You know why we have this as integers, because if I put in a dot right here, it indicates that it's going to be a float. What we've treated this in our previous tutorial. So now we are working with integers. Even you can also work with float if you decide to put the point right there. Now we're with integers, so we have the sum, integer, and our final answer is going to give us an integer. That's what it means. So let's try and give an example of this. So based on our sum right here, let's say we want to add the sum of two numbers. Let's say we want to add 5 and 6. Let's say we want to add 5 and 6 now. What you do is you call the function sum, right? And then 5, 6. So x is 5, y is 6, and then you do your point virgule. And you see right here, it sums it up for you. It gives you 11. 5 plus 6 is 11. Let's try with a float. So I'll just copy this. Did we use a float? Okay, I think I'll see if we can copy this. And so we have floats right here. So we do the same thing, sum. But since we are using floats, we have to place it in the form of float. Let's say sum of 5.0 and then 6.0, then point virgule. You see our answer right here. The sum of the two of them based on what we've defined the function to be, it's giving us float 11. Cool, right? So let's try something else. Let's try and find the square of a number. Let's find the square. Let's find the square of 5. You know, find the square of 5. That's 5 square, and the square of 5. Alright, but 5 square, and that's going to give us 5 times 5. So let's try that. So first thing, as usual, we say let, and then we call the function. Let's call the function xqr, and then since you're finding the square 5 square, for instance 6 square, that is basically x square, so we need only one variable. So let's call the variable x, and it will be equal to how, basically it's how you define the function, what you want it to do, the expression you're giving to it. That's how it's going to work. All right, so we're going to go like x times x, because x times x, which, like I said, 5 times 5 will give us 25, which is the square of 5. So then followed by double point value, and then let's check this. Cool. So you see right here, it says the square is what we named our function as. That's the first thing you see right here. Then followed by the int, and then we have this right here. So let's use the example. So just take away this let, and let's use 5. Like we've used 5 already, so let's try using the 5 again. You see right here, the square of 5, that's int 25. So that's how functions work. Okay, now I said something at the beginning of this video, that I said you can call a function to where you want to use it again. Now let's try finding the sum of two square of the sum of square of two numbers. Okay, so that means we have to, when doing that, we have to call back this function square of x, square x, for us to find the sum of two square. So we go like let's say the sum of square, will be equal to, now we'll call back this function, because when we say sum of square, okay, before I do that, when we say sum of square, it's like sum of the square of two numbers. It's like me saying, let's say 5 times 5 plus 6 times 6. Okay, so it's the square, so it's basically 5 square and 6 square. So that means I can call back this function, because I already know that the square of x is going to give me x times x. So I call back that function here. So I have let sum. You can call the function whatever you want to call it, but just for it to understand this is what you want it to do, and for someone else to understand, you can just call it something that's pretty easy. So let's the sum square of x and y, because we are looking at 2 now, be equal to, now I'll just call the function square of x and square of y. Okay, you see right here, so it's just basically going to come back here. Where is it? It's okay, right here. Okay, so it's basically going to call this function right here and work with it that way. So let's give the example where we have 5 and 6. I don't know, my obsession with 5 and 6 today, but well, yeah. So you see right here, it's called this function and then it works with it right here. That's cool stuff right here now. So that's how functions work. None of this video should be done, but why don't we try one more example? Yeah, let's try finding the maximum between two numbers. Okay, so let's say let's call it max between two numbers. If like we'll still use 5 and 6, we know 5 is less than 6 and 6 is greater than 5. So if we want to do such, we can say let max of x, y, because we are comparing between two numbers, so we have let x and y. In this case, we introduce the condition. If for condition, we go like if something happens to this variable, then that. If not, then another expression. So that's how we're going to do this. So let the maximum of x and y. Now we're going to try and compare the two of them together while bringing out the maximum between 5 and 6. But we have to first create a general expression for that. So we have if So if x is greater than y, so remember we're taking the maximum, so if x is greater than y, then we have to take x, right? If not, that is else, we take y. So that's the condition where now if x is greater than y, we take x. If not, we just take y, because if x is not greater than y, obviously y will be greater than x. So okay, so now let's try. We have the max of 5 and 6. See right here, we know 6 is greater than 5, so it's taking that. So that's how it works for functions. So in our next video, we'll be looking at recursive functions, and then subsequently we'll keep going. So thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.